The second thing that and you could, by the way, do the first step without spending any money at all. All you need is an internet browser, Google, and off you go, okay? The second thing that you do is you have to then measure it. Measure what people are saying about you, turning the qualitative information out there about you and quantifying it so that you're able to start to detect patterns and trends. This is something that you probably have to spend a little money on, unfortunately. But there are different various analytical tools on the marketplace, of which we obviously have one of them, that will help you quantify this information, put it in nice charts and tables so that you can see, at a report level, what is the social media topics that are out about you. And then the final thing that you should do is to then engage. But engaging doesn't mean putting ads in the social networks. That is so 2001. To be able to engage properly in these social networks and with your users, you really have to think about it as an extension of your customer relationship management system. It's a relationship-based thing in terms of how you would interact with them. And many times, when you effectively set up, let's say, a fan page on Facebook, what you're not looking for, you're not looking for friends. What you're looking for are fans. Fans of your brand. Fans of your brand because they believe in what your brand has to offer. They believe in what your brand promises. And they may not be customers yet, but they want to be a part of what it is that you have to offer so that eventually one day when they do come to Italy and they do decide to stay somewhere, they already know about you and they will then conduct their business with you. So the three things is to listen and or monitor, to measure and or quantify, and engage in the way by establishing a relationship with them, not by throwing advertisements at them and trying to convert them into a customer immediately.
Thank you. In your presentation, we also saw that it seems to be a link between reputation and price. So what's the link between the revenue management and the management of the social media?
Yeah. This is actually a favorite topic amongst many of our clients, which is that is there a definitive link between my reputation in social media and my revenue? And the answer is yes, there is a definitive link. Okay? One of our customers, Accor Hotels, basically they're obsessive about tracking their TripAdvisor ranking. And we have many other international chain hotels that are very, very, very focused on ensuring that they appear in the top 10 search results in many of these review sites, because they can actually calculate for every position point, for every rank point that they are able to detect. Let's say they go from number 3 to number 2. What does that correlate to in terms of the moment conversion, in terms of the rate that they're able to charge for? So we know from working with different clientele that there is a definitive link between what your social media reputation is versus what your revenue line are.
Thank you. And I have here a question coming from the audience here, and they're asking this. Generating generic UGC sites, so user-generated content sites, have many contents that could be used by specific tourism sites. How?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
So it's generic user-generated content sites have many contents that could be used specific by specific tourism sites. How?
By specific tourism sites?
Yeah.
And how would they? Is the question how could people use content on general content sites in terms of promoting their tourism? Okay. Yeah. Well, the key here, okay, in terms of the content that's out there, really lies in two primary factors. The number one factor is search. Is it findable or not via sites such as Google and Bing and Yahoo and so on and so forth? Because the primary way in which users are able to access content on the web today is primarily through search. So the first thing that I would say is, let's say that there's content that exists in multiple different sites, general content sites, blogging sites, so on and so forth. How easy is it to find that information using search against your brand. If it's easy to find it, if it's in the top 20 or 30 or so, then you must take into consideration what those content says. And if it doesn't come up within the top results or so, then it's probably too long tail that you don't really have to worry about it. The second thing that I would say in terms of its applicability to driving tourism really then comes in the form of how special and unique is that information about you, and does it emphasize a differentiation about your brand, or does it emphasize something that is very common to you and your competitors? Because if it, for example, is something that is highly, highly differentiated about your brand, then it may be worthwhile for you to engage in a search engine marketing campaign, or to change your positioning in such a way so as to incorporate a unique differentiator to be able to draw more people that are looking for that specific thing, to your branded website or to your experience that you have to provide.
Thank you. And what are your suggestions for a hotelier who goes into Facebook or Twitter, for example?
My suggestions for hoteliers that are going to Facebook and Twitter. So I have two different answers to that. One for Facebook, others for Twitter. So on Facebook, it's really about creating fans and not friends. Fans is a relationship whereby, let's say that I'm a hotelier and I create a fan page on Facebook. On this fan page on Facebook here, I'm going to talk about the things that are really, really cool and differentiated about my property. So maybe it's my location, maybe it's a history, historical importance behind it, maybe it's specific design, whatever it is that I believe to differentiate me from my competitors, and that is also backed up by social media that has been written about me. So I'm going to create a fan page that's very specifically about that. And what I'm going to be looking for are then fans who are other Facebook users who would find the differentiation something that is really interesting to them. Okay, so let's say Laura then becomes a fan of what I have to offer. This is a really great relationship. The reason it's a great relationship is because she chose to be a fan of my brand. I did not solicit her. She doesn't have to share any personal information with me. She basically chose to create a link with me. So once she has done that, I now feel very free to talk about things that I want her to know about because she's a fan. So I'm going to talk to her about the promotions I have for the holidays. I'm going to talk to her about the last available room. I'm going to talk to her about the different rate, that I may have available here. And also, I may even ask her to let me know if she's coming to stay in my hotel so that I can do something special for her upon her arrival. But the relationship here as a fan gives the power completely over to Laura, which makes it very risk-free for her because she can cut off that relationship at any time. And the other really great thing about this is that once Laura becomes a fan, if she really likes her experience with my brand a lot, she will go and tell other friends about it. So she'll maybe tell this entire front row of people here. But the credibility really rests with Laura and not with me. I did not go and actively solicit the front row people here. It's Laura who did this on my behalf. And so the credibility and the trust relationship is really here and not me directly to this. This is a fantastic relationship for a brand to have. So that's the recommendation I would make for hotel owners that are trying to get onto Facebook, is to really think about what do you offer uniquely and differentiated. Go and get fans to really understand that, to join your fan page, and then leverage them and allow them to go spread the word on your behalf. Twitter, on the other hand, is a little bit harder because Twitter is really about real-time information. So for a hotel owner, you really have to think about what is the value of the information that you're providing to your Twitter followers in real time.